We are consumed with Big East basketball every single day, so to give us a little bit of a national perspective, we bring in CBS Sports' Matt Norlander, the shoot-around. Matt, thanks for joining us. I want to get right into the NCAA tournament discussion. As you look at the top teams in the nation, what are the odds that both Villanova and Xavier could end up on that one-seed line?
I think there's a good shot, but I think Xavier is going to have to for sure get to the title game in the Big East and might need to win it. I can see a situation in which if Xavier made the title game, lost to Villanova, took 3 of its L's to the Wildcats, if there was enough noise around the Musketeers on that one line, they might be dropped to the top 2, which, by the way, wouldn't be the worst thing. If that happened in that scenario, I can almost guarantee you Xavier would be sent back to Omaha. You'll recall they had a nice game out there against the Blue Jays, and they'd be the number 1 ranked 2 seed in the country, and that wouldn't be the worst thing in terms of geography. But if we want to see the Big East get 2 number 1 seeds, I think Xavier's going to have to win the Big East tournament to do so.
I'll tell you what, I think Musketeer fans would be very happy with the 2 seed and the trip to Omaha for their first ever Final Four trip on the line. We'll see how it shakes out. Want to talk Player of the Year discussion with you. Do you think Villanova's Jalen Brunson or Xavier's Trayvon Blewett could make a case in these last couple of weeks and actually win Player of the Year?
I'm glad you brought up Trayvon Blewett because, listen, to me right now, Trae Young is still the National Player of the Year. If the season ended literally after we finished doing this segment, I had to log my vote, it would be Trae Young. I understand Oklahoma's in a swoon, but I think Brunson's coming up right on him, fairly close. And how about Blewett? Blewett's averaging 20 points a game, shooting 44% from 3. And if you've watched Xavier play, they've got a nice roster, but Blewett is the kind of late-game go-to performer that I think is going to help him. So let's not just assume that it's going to automatically be Brunson. I think Blewett is very much in the mix here. Over the next 3 weeks, all of these games are going to count, and any one of them could, I think, potentially steal Player of the Year.
And you're high on a couple of individuals in the Big East. We looked on Twitter, you posted your NCAA All-Star team that you picked with Gary Parrish, and you had 4 guys. You mentioned Brunson and Blewett, but also Marcus Foster, Angel Delgado. Does the Big East help individuals also get a ton of exposure with how competitive it is night in and night out?
It does, and that team you're referencing is Parrish and I on our podcast drafted all-star teams like the LeBron and Steph Curry did, and it just so happened that with the way that it played out, Foster's been great. Should be getting more love nationally, frankly. I would suspect at least 3 Big East players will be voted among what's in effect the top 15 players in the country when we get to the middle of March.
And you think that name right now would be Marcus Foster?
I do, as long as I do. If Creighton can right itself and get a few more wins, make a Big East run to the title game, maybe even just the semifinals, and Foster plays well, he'll have a shot at 13 All-American. There's no doubt about it. He's played very, very well over the past 2 months.
I want to talk to you about Twitter as it relates to the NCAA tournament. Is there anything more fragile than college basketball Twitter psyche after their team loses a game in February?
Man, I'm glad you brought this up because, listen, that's part of the fun of it, but I've always liked college basketball because it doesn't overreact the way college football fans tend to do and NFL fans tend to do. Seeding is on the line, and I know that the NCAA tournament coaches will tell you it's so much about matchups. They are more concerned with what team they'll be faced against in the first round and then what team they could face in the round of 32. But if you look at the statistics, seeding matters. I do think that the 4 others that you mentioned and you add in Marquette, those 5 teams, they still have a wide variety of being out of the tournament to, in the case of some of these teams, they're still going to be pushing and striving. If they can make big runs, 5 seed, 4 seed certainly on the line. So there's plenty to be determined here in February, and that's what makes it so fun. This is already my favorite time of year. March is great, but we're in the thick of it now, and there's plenty on the line.
All right, he's Matt Norlander from CBS Sports. Matt, we really appreciate the perspective. Thanks for joining us on Shoot Around.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.